Now I know the big teaser of the Mortal Kombat movie is that we will see Johnny Cage in a possible sequel. We hope nothing's been announced officially yet, but we're still hoping something gets announced soon. But until then, we have to decide who's going to play Johnny Cage. Like, we have the power, us fans, but let's say we do. Let's say we pull a Snyder cut and we are able to let the WB executives know who we think should be Johnny Cage. So I've been scouring the web to find out who fans think that Johnny Cage should be. My own picks, even some viewers that have commented, and even stuff on Twitter that I've seen. So I've come up with a list of 9 possible actors, of course no actresses because it's Johnny Cage, and to see who could actually be the martial artist with a mouth. Kind of like Daredevil, the merc with a mouth, the martial artist with a mouth, you know, that kind of thing. So I've got 9 of them, and I'm going to rank them from who I think are less likely to more likely. So first up, I have Chris Evans. Now, I did see online the GameSpot poll where they did have a couple actors listed, and they kind of, you know, asked their fans, it was like 100,000 people that actually did the poll, who they would think would play of the characters Johnny Cage. And on this list, Chris Evans was on there, and he only got 11% of the poll, but he'd be last on my list because while he is America's ass, Captain America, I think since he's done that role, I don't know that he could do anything else but that other than like dramatic roles or something non-superhero other than that. So I think him being Johnny Cage, while he probably could, I think it's not likely. Next up, I have Stephen Amell. So of course he is Green Arrow. And I think with him, while he does have some wrestling experience, I know it's not martial arts per se, but he does have some type of fighting ability. I'm trying to get to that point. I think he could possibly be that. I haven't really seen him say much. I mean, as far as like comedic levels, as far as like Johnny Cage, I haven't seen him, you know, get to that level. Not to say he probably couldn't, but I have him at number 8 on my list. Next up on my list is one that's actually viewers on my videos have commented, Scott Adkins. Now, I was not familiar with Scott Adkins. I had to look him up. So he is a martial artist and he's a stunt performer. And of course, he would be perfect for the role, but I think he's too practical, if that's a good way to put it. Him and the next one on my list, Alain Moussi, he is another one of those that's a martial artist that I think, while would be an obvious and very practical pick, I just don't know if that's what they're kind of looking for with Johnny Cage for the next movie. Now, I think with the next movie, they're going to try to go for some either star power or mid-range names, you know, kind of get people more of a draw, especially with, I think, the reception that fans had with Kano in the movie, where he was very much good comic relief and kind of, I have some memes that have put it, carried the movie. I don't think that was the case, but he was a very memorable character from the movie. I think that with Scott Adkins and Alain Moussi, while they are very perfect for the role as far as martial artists with the moves, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull fans in, you know, or even outside people not familiar with Mortal Kombat to draw them to go watch the movie. Next up on my list, I have Jensen Ackles. So, of course, you know, with Supernatural being over, and he does do some music on the side, the Texan, I think, could possibly make it to the big screen as Johnny Cage. He is going to be in the coming 3rd season of The Boys. And I think from that, if fans seem to like him, I mean, we're not going to get a Mortal Kombat sequel like next year. It's going to probably take like 2 years or so before something, you know, within that time happens and maybe releases. So I think, you know, Jensen Ackles could possibly pull that off. I think he could probably do the humor of it. I think him being on Supernatural and having a fan base would also help, you know, bring that over to Mortal Kombat. And I think the Warner Brothers would be fine for that. And he's already kind of worked with Warner Brothers with the CW, the Supernatural being on CW. So it's possible that we could probably see him come over to be Johnny Cage. Next up, I have Joel McHale. So with Joel McHale, I just put him on here because he was the actor who voiced Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. And I think he did a good job. And I think with his kind of humor, I think that's kind of what we would like to see in Johnny Cage. You can let me know in the comments below if you think Joel McHale, you know, was a good fit for Johnny Cage in the cartoon. But I think for a movie, I think, why not? My only thing with him is he is tall. He's like 6'4", I think. So he's kind of on the tall side. We don't need Johnny Cage that tall. But, I mean, if he's got the mouth, let's see if he can do the acting too. All right, my top 3. So at number 3, I have Chris Pratt. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Chris Pratt is turning into another Tom Holland as far as everybody thinking that he could be somebody. Well, you know, for Chris Pratt, that works because for me, as being a fan of Parks and Recreation, that's how I knew Chris Pratt, even before Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, he has the comedic aspect. He can do that. And even with him being Star-Lord, he can do that too. Now, you're probably saying, well, Justin, you said Chris Evans couldn't be Johnny Cage. Why could Chris Pratt? Well, I think in a lot of people's minds, Chris Pratt being Star-Lord on Guardians of the Galaxy is probably a lesser group than Captain America of the Avengers. So I think that Chris Pratt could do dual roles. I mean, he's going to be in an upcoming, I'm not really sure what the movie is, but it kind of reminds me of like the Expendables kind of, or, you know, the Army of the Dead, kind of some type of, you know, mercenary group action movie he's going to be in. So we have that. He's been in Jurassic Park. So we know he can do the action, and we know he has the comedic aspect to go with it. So I think Chris Pratt is a pretty good pick. Number 2 on my list is The Miz. Now, I know that I talked about this in a previous video. I know many people online have been like, no to The Miz, yes to The Miz, no to The Miz, yes to The Miz. Well, I think The Miz is still a good pick. And I think he's already caught the eye of many people between Ed Boon and other people. So I think, you know, hey, I think don't count him out. Now, I know probably thinking, well, he's a wrestler and that's just not it. And we've seen him in another movie, the B movies, and he's not very good. But you got to think about this, you know, if they decide to pick him, they could always have him take lessons quickly. I think with The Miz, he has good star power. I mean, not at the level of like Chris Evans or Chris Pratt or even my next number 1 pick, but I do think that The Miz has a good fan base that he could bring from like WWE over to Mortal Kombat if they're not already fans, and they would definitely support him. And he does just seem to fit the role. I mean, even from my thumbnail, you could see, and even from the pics I'm showing you now, of him kind of as Johnny Cage, even though this is just straight from what he is in the wrestling world, he kind of already fits the character to a T. He's very arrogant. He's full of himself. He kind of has that Hollywood persona. So I think for The Miz, it's kind of like a good fit if they could just get the acting, which is I think what people are really worried about, and possibly the martial arts, but I think he can learn that. I think, you know, he'd be a perfect fit for Johnny Cage. All right, and number 1 on my list is Ryan Reynolds. Now you're probably thinking, okay, Ryan Reynolds will not do this movie. He's going to probably cost too much. And I've seen it online that why would the studio pay him so much to do that? Well, you're probably right. But I think Ryan Reynolds, you know, having already had that relationship with Warner Brothers being Green Lantern, and I know the Green Lantern movie for some wasn't that great. And I know he was, you know, going to potentially be in the Snyder Cut. So he kind of has a relationship with Warner Brothers already. But I think with Ryan Reynolds, he likes to please his fans. He also was in Blade Trinity, so he has that, you know, action and with the mouth. That's what he's known for. He was also in X-Men. So he's been in a lot of movies where he's got to show off the action and the comedic aspects of himself. Now with Ryan Reynolds, do I think money would be a problem? It could be. But I think when it comes to fans, he might, you know, he's obviously on Ed Boon's radar already. And he obviously posted, you know, a funny thing for, you know, the Mint Mobile, which is, you know, he's co-owner or part owner. So he's already kind of playing into it. But that's not to say that they haven't had talks behind the scenes where like, you know what, Ryan, would you like to do this? We'd make it worth your while, you know, and the nice thing too is this could be a multi-movie contract. So it's not like he's going to get stuck with just one movie. Obviously, Johnny Cage would be in multiple Mortal Kombat movies. I hope they wouldn't pull an Annihilation and kill him off after this, you know, one movie. But that and royalties and, you know, I think once we get out of the, you know, pandemic and stuff like that, I think things will go back to normal with the movie theaters and, you know, it'll start making more money. So it could be lucrative for him. Now, I will say that he did just sign a 3-year deal, I believe, with Paramount to make movies. So I don't know if he's going to necessarily star in them or if he's just going to make them and produce them. But that has happened, so that could put a kink in that. But I would still pick Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Cage if that was an option. So I think my list of Johnny Cages for 1, and what do you think of my rankings of the Johnny Cages? Which one do you think you would like to see as Johnny Cage? And of the ones I listed, if I didn't list yours, who do I need to add on the list to possibly be Johnny Cage in a possible Mortal Kombat sequel? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. For more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time on The Mashup.